Good morning and welcome back to the Faith in Formation podcast. It's Thursday, March 12th. Thanks for jumping on and joining here this morning. If you're new here with us, this is a daily devotional podcast, your home for finding a verse of the day and getting something from it. I am your host, Andrew Schreiber, and today we're joined with Brother Sam Moore. How you doing, Sam?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, Brother Andrew?
I'm doing so great. Listen, I had to start out with an apology, actually.
Okay.
Yes. So all last week, a week ago today, I did not post any podcasts. I was
Shameful.
so shameful. I can't believe it. I was down for the count. If some of you are wondering what happened to the Faith and Formation podcast, we're here. We're still here. We've not gone anywhere. I just went to a very sick place for
Not the hospital, thank
No,
goodness.
thank goodness. But yes, I was trying to get some rest, trying to recuperate. I sounded horrible. In fact, you might be able to hear it, you might not be able to, but my voice still is not quite back to.
Yeah, you had a 1-2 punch of one thing after the other. And I
It
was like,
was
poor Brother Andrews. I definitely felt for you. And
yeah. But you know what?
Did your wife ever
Back.
get anything from you, or did she?
No.
That's
And it's I
you
don't
sound
how.
disappointed.
It's not.
You're
It's
like,
not. I'm not disappointed.
It's
just
not fair.
Exactly. It's not fair. I have the immune system of a stagnant lake, and she has one of some Greek goddess. I don't. It's crazy. I can't. Everything. I catch
Oh
everything.
my word.
It's crazy.
Well, glad to hear that you're feeling better, Brother Andrew. It's good to see you back. I'm sure the
Yes.
teens are glad to hear your lovely voice
Well, I
back
don't know
again,
about
so.
that, but I am glad to be back, and we're back here with you. Thank you again for listening, for being a part. Thank you to all of our listeners, wherever you're tuning in from. Thanks for joining us again this morning. As I mentioned, it is Thursday, March 12th. We're in Colossians 4 this morning and a devotional entitled Salty Words, and we'll get to that here in a moment. Before we hit that, though, let's look at our devotion or our memory verse for the week. Our first day for this one, it comes from Romans 6, verse 22, says there, "But now being made free from sin and become servants to God, ye have your fruit unto holiness, and the end everlasting life." Romans 6, verse 22. All right, our devotional from Colossians chapter 4, salty words. The verse 6 is the verse we're looking at this morning. It says there, "Let your speech be alway with grace, seasoned with salt, that ye may know how ye ought to answer every man." Brother Sam, looking at this chapter, what did you get from it?
Yeah, so a little backstory on this book of Colossians, written by Paul to the Church of Colossae. And if you look at this chapter and a lot of the books that Paul has written in this chapter as well, he's giving instruction, a lot of instruction here to the believers there. And so he starts off with the chapter giving some different instruction for masters and how to treat their servants and everything else. Um, and I think it's interesting. Verses 3 actually through 6, I do see um it's not all talking about speech, but I can see a similar train of thought of where he's talking about. So I'm actually going to go back to verse 3 and read that. He's saying, withal praying also for us that God would open unto us a door of utterance. So he's speaking about him, um, to speak the mystery of Christ, for which I am in bond. So he's in prison, that I may make it manifest as I ought to speak, walk in wisdom towards them that are without, redeeming the time. Let your speech be always with grace, seasoned with salt, that you may know how to answer every man. As he's talking through there, I think it's interesting. Um, it, there's back in verse 3, like I think we can look at verse 6 and see how he's talking about having gracious words. Like if we were to just summarize verse 6 all the way down as much as you could, it would just be speak graciously, watch your tone, watch how you speak, because that will reflect Christ, or should reflect Christ, and it will show your testimony
Yeah.
for better or for worse based off of that. But going a little bit deeper, I think it's interesting here. If you go back to verse 3, he's actually talking about um, a door of utterance and how they've been speaking the mystery of Christ, which put them in prison. But I think an important thing to kind of make the correlation here is when you're teaching or being a light or witnessing to others, um, I think Paul realized the importance of having gracious words even when speaking of Christ. Like, I've seen Christians speak the truth of God, but not in grace and
Mhm.
not in a loving way. And yes, what they're saying is true, but how it's coming out of their mouth,
Yeah.
it's not out of a place of love. It's more condemnation towards, the person that they're talking to.
Yeah.
I think Paul is, we can make the difference, or excuse me, we can make the assumption that Paul had realized, uh, not just the importance of having gracious words, um, in just an everyday scenario. But when you're witnessing to other people, it's really important to speak graciously unto them and not be, I guess, for lack of a better term, trying to shove the gospel down their throat.
Sure.
Um, so that's one thing that I saw that was a little bit deeper than what was just written in black and white
Yeah.
on that. But yeah, the overall gist of what he's saying is it's so important. Your tone of voice, how you're saying things to people. I mean, I'm sure that you guys can think of a time when just in a very quick reaction, you've said something that's not wrong, but the way you said it, immediately you're like,
Yeah.
"Ooh, that
Yeah.
that was wrong." And so Paul's saying, "Hey, be careful about that."
Yeah. Very, very true. And the matter in which you speak is so, so very important. They have that saying, actions speak louder than words, and
Yeah.
it's very, very true. And I think an action could be how you say things, right? I mean, that's how your body is conveying what's happening, how your voice is conveying. That is as much a part of language as the actual verbiage you're using is.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, that's pretty obvious, I think. Everybody knows that. I also think about Christ in the New Testament there as he's speaking, in the Gospels, he's teaching, he's talking to different people. He used different tones and words when speaking to different groups of people,
Mhm.
right? Like think about the woman at the well,
Right.
right? As he talks to her, he's not harsh to her.
No.
He tells her the truth, but definitely in love, shows her the things that are wrong, tells her what is right, and she repents, of course, tells the town about Christ, and the story goes she's saved that day because of that. And then you go to his conversations with a group like the Pharisees, right?
Yeah.
Where he's calling them white painted
Yeah.
sepulchres and a den of vipers, all these things.
Hypocrites. Yeah.
Hypocrites. I mean, much harsher language, right? But he knew in each circumstance how to talk. The Pharisees were people that studied the word. They did know better. They
Mhm.
should know these things,
Right.
right? And they are blatantly on purpose doing the opposite when they don't know better. Like the woman at the well was a Samaritan, right? She was not at all the same
Right.
the same group or knowing like the Pharisees did. So he dealt with them very differently. And in the same way, we need the wisdom of God to have quote unquote salty words,
Yeah.
right? Seasoned well, appropriate, tactful, you might say.
And I love the correlation you just made there, Brother Andrew, because the end of the verse says that you may know how to answer every man, which
Right.
implies, you don't it's not a one size fits all,
Yeah.
always give this response to every person,
Yeah.
right? It's and I think that's, the verse before that talks about walking in wisdom. I think part of
Yeah.
that is asking the Holy Spirit, 'cause sometimes we're gonna be in a situation where we're like, Lord, how should I respond to this person in
Yeah.
this moment,
So
right?
true.
And that's where we rely on the Holy Spirit to be like, okay, here's where you need to be, extremely gracious, or here's where you need to be kind, but speak very firmly, right? In
Yes.
a,
So
an
true.
admonishing way. Yeah,
Yeah. Very true. And this may be a little peek into the ministry side of things. I think this is super, super important for those in ministry, like full time
yeah.
ministry. We deal with people. That is our primary, um, not occupation, but well, it's what we do primarily. We
Mhm.
deal with people, right? And so knowing how to answer everybody with different issues going on, different attitudes, different uh, levels of knowledge and understanding and wisdom. And the number one thing I can say about this is you just got to ask God for his wisdom. You have to. I do not know, or any pastor does not know what to say to every person that comes through looking for something. There are obviously a lot more drastic situations you could talk about, like when family members die or things like that. What do you say to those people?
Right,
I can't just come up with the perfect things to say to these people, right?
right,
But God knows, and so having His wisdom is so very important. By the way, having wisdom is something we can all pray for more of all of the time. We're never going to be at a point where it's like, all right, I think I'm wise enough.
right.
We could always ask for more, and that ought to be something that every Christian is seeking for daily. Lord, give me the wisdom that I need to get through today correctly, and answer everybody how I should. Yeah, and that's our devotional from Colossians chapter 4, having salty words seasoned well, being tactful. That's a good word for it as well. And so, a challenge to all of you that are listening, and the challenge to us is to pray today to have God's wisdom so that you might know how you should answer anyone who comes across your path. All right. Well, thanks again for joining us this morning. As you go to prayer today, and I hope that you will, spend a little extra time praying for your family today. The needs, the wants, the difficulties, all those things. Pray for your family specifically this morning. And then for our teenagers, we want to mention Fosco specifically this morning. Thanks again to all of you. Again, I apologize for not being on the podcast this last week, but hopefully you'll get back into the rhythm and flow of things, and you'll join us here every morning for your daily devotional podcast. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time.